Hey everyone, this is Mike Goossen, CPA, and I'm here today with Entigrity Remote Staffing. And today I'd like to talk about the different structures and approaches to working with remote staff. Oftentimes we get questions from new clients or even some existing clients as to what is the best way, what's the best structure to work with the remote staff that we have. Well, we'll talk about a few of those today, and the first one I'd like to bring up is referred to as the one-to-one model. Before I go into the details, let me tell you a little story or give you an example of how it works. We have one client that has a lot of high value individuals as their client base. These individuals are corporations or are individuals who own lots of corporations. These are professionals, maybe athletes, movie stars, that type, and they have a lot of very unique situations for each one of them. The one-to-one model works very well because the remote staff and the local supervisor staff have to work very closely to make sure that they understand all the details necessary and the best way to satisfy that client's needs. So the one-to-one model works very well for them. Also, the one-to-one model is a very good way to start when you're working with remote staffing. If you haven't done it before, start with one, and as you grow, we can work into some of the other models we want to talk about next. So now let's take a look at the second model we want to talk about today. This model is referred to as the one-to-many model. This is different from the one-to-one model, whereas the one supervisor working directly with one remote staff. In this case, we have a local supervisor that works with two or more remote staff. To help you understand how this works, let me give you an example. We have a client in Detroit, Michigan, which has hundreds of small business clients that require a lot of processing each month. So what they've done is they've taken that monthly processing and broken down to 4 specific tasks. The first task being with a download of all the transactions from the various banks, credit card statements, etc., and documents into the accounting system. The second task that's designed is that's where you get the data entry of monthly invoices, accounts payable, transactions, and the like. The third step of the process was reconciling bank statements, reconciling credit card statements, making sure everything is ready to go. The fourth step of the task was that there would be a review, and then after that review is complete, there would be reports that were generated, that were returned back to the US manager, that was then sent out to the clients. Now this works really well for this particular firm because of a couple of reasons. First reason is the manager in the US does not have a lot of high-level review responsibilities. The second part is that same manager in the US does not have to have a lot of interaction with the clients because they simply provide information and deliver it to the clients each month and hear from them as well. The third reason it works well is because it's very consistent each month. The processes are the same. Some could say cookie cutter. They're the same every month, which allows for a high volume of work being done by the remote staff each month. The next model I want to talk about is we refer to as the hybrid model. We call it hybrid because it's really a combination of the first two we've just discussed. If you recall, the first model, the one-to-one model, was necessary for clientele that needed high quality and detail and direct relationship with the clients. The second model was more of a high volume model where you could segment the task, create the volume that you needed to get done. This model is a hybrid in that it's both for quality and quantity. Let me explain what I mean. Right now we have a client that has to process over 6,000 1040 tax returns each year. And the way they do this is they have a team of remote staff that do the data entry and the processing and the initial review to make sure things are looking pretty good. Then they also have a remote manager. The remote manager then is there to do a secondary review on those tax returns and also to handle any issues or questions or problems that might come up during the processing. Now those returns are then delivered back to the supervisors at the US team where they are ready for final review and then issued to the client. So you can see this way they get a large volume by having a team remotely, they get an initial review from the manager, and they deliver quality work at the end. So that's why we call that the hybrid model. So which model should you choose? Well, that depends on the type of work and services that you provide. It depends on the type of client base that you service. It also depends on the internal working structure of your organization. So that's what we have for today. I hope that helped you understand the different models that are used in working with remote staffing. This is Mike Goossen, CPA, hoping that you have a great day.